Oh, it's after the show, my bad. Hey, y'all, welcome to Forward Progress after the show.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, the show was amazing. And so here we are still with our guest. Emma Alexander had to leave, and we have now been joined by Miss Gloria. Miss Gloria, what's your last name?
Bryant.
Miss Gloria Bryant. This is Nevada K's mom. All right.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. And so after the show, look, let me unbutton. We're getting a little loose now. This is our candid conversation, and we've kind of already talked about like the deep things. I want to talk to y'all. This is a question because we walked through it with Nevada. And as our mental health coach, I think last time I talked about dealing with, insecurities and stuff. And one of the things is I am an artist, but I don't advertise everything I do. But I am an artist, and I'm the one who painted these paintings around, and every show we have them. But this particular painting, I was doing, thank you, it's an abstract, and it doesn't look like her at all, but I was doing this during the time that Nevada was losing her hair. And the name of this one is called She Recovered. Yes. Nevada was the cutest little baldy. She was just adorable. And her mom also did the big chop.
She did.
She was in Florida, and she couldn't be here. And so she did the big chop all the way from Florida. I'm up for it, and I was like, Nevada, I ain't gonna do that with you, girl, but I'm gonna support you.
Those were her exact words.
I was with her, though.
Along with also, don't ask me to go to any appointments. She was like, I'm with you. Don't ask me to go back where
in that back
they're
room.
Doing the chemotherapy
That
in
one.
the back room. She was there, but she's like, I'm not going.
Got that back room.
But I
just
appreciated
that part.
that, her saying up front, I'm with you, but that would be
That's a ride or die.
too much. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to say we had some good times. But like seriously, she never stopped working, and she works in all of these counties, and it's like, well, let's go. And I'm driving to Lavernia. Where else did you work?
Oh man, you went to Lavernia. We went to Victoria. Some
Yeah,
other small county.
But she's still working. Like, I'm just the driver.
Yes.
And I mean, just to watch her go and just push. And there was times when she just be tired, right?
Because it does. It takes a lot.
It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But she never stopped working. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand now. Because it was for such a time as this.
Yes. One of the things that God had told me was to live this journey out loud.
Yes.
And like she would say, I didn't understand it then.
And we
but
as
there
black
are,
folks, we don't do that enough.
No,
But
I
there
have
are,
to be honest with you.
we don't.
so
thank
many.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But just people that has been inspired by the way that God gave me the grace to go through.
Yeah.
And when you talk about support of the family, support of coworkers, my mother wasn't here at the time. She was taking care of her great-grandchildren in Florida. She couldn't get on a plane, but thanks to technology, she never missed a visit. And then we talked several times a day. So I don't know if you cried. You never let me see you cry. Did you cry?
Well, no matter how could you not cry? Your baby going through some changes.
I know
you know
my
what I'm
baby
saying?
girl did. And,
You did.
I think that affected me more than the thing is seeing my baby girl. But I was like you. I just kept pushing forward. Like I said, my daughter was a senior. She was working on trying to get a scholarship in basketball. So Mama put on her mask, and I was at games. I was taking her to Oklahoma whenever I had enough strength. Even some when I didn't. I would lay in the back seat. Come on, we going. And just ride. But that keeps us strong and keeps us going. If we lay there like life is over, then life can be over. But if we begin to keep moving and begin to constantly speak life within ourselves and to others, then, hey, you got half the battle's over.
Oh, my goodness. Kat, do you have kids? Did you have kids during this time?
I did. And I currently have a 36-year-old and a 30-year-old.
Okay.
And the oldest one was actually attending University of Houston and dropped out to come back and take care of me because, Daddy decided to go exit stage left. And no harbored feelings about that because I've learned something here recently, life coach. I went to a mental health counselor deal that a judge was putting on. And she was basically talking about harboring old feelings and how if you don't release what's on your mind in terms of those previous thoughts or experiences, it will fester. Forgiveness is everything.
Yes.
So after I left that counseling session, I called my kid's father, my ex-husband of 20 plus years that left me while I was going through the breast cancer.
Jesus.
I said, hey, Brown. I was crying. I said, hey, Brown. And I'm strong, you know. Now I'm strong, you know. He said, Cat? I said, yeah. And he said, what's wrong with you, girl? I said, I'm just calling to apologize. He said, apologize for what, girl?
Right.
What's wrong, Cat? I left you. I'm sorry. No. I said, no, I'm sorry. Because when you left me, I acted a plumb fool. He said, no, I deserve that. I said, that's where you wrong, too. Just because you hurt me doesn't give me the right to hurt you back.
That's
that's
good.
beautiful.
Only hurt people
That's
hurt
good.
people.
That's so good.
And I just learned that today at a mental health counseling session.
Oh my God.
He said, who won't at the end of who won't at the end of this podcast? I said, no. I says, you ain't too old. I was 55 at the time. I said, you're never too old to learn something new.
Yeah.
I said, and I love you from an
Jesus, love
agape perspective, and
There you
I'm
go.
glad that we're still able to be, you know, friends and grandparents to our grandkids.
Oh my God.
Love it, love it.
That's healing
Love it.
right there.
Yes.
That's being better and not bitter.
And freeing.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it, love
Yes.
it. What you do is so important. Reaching people in the mental level.
Yes.
I just appreciate and love those mental health coaches, and because a lot of people doesn't realize some of the things until they're able to talk it out. Till they're able to talk it out.
Yes, yes, yes.
What they actually have inside.
Right,
that's
right,
true.
right.
Now, for me, I would have to say thank you. Thank you for her husband. Thank you for her mother and father that she was married into the family. And for all those people that was in her life. Because being at home, it didn't matter what I put into place. I had gotten tickets. I had my great-great-grands. I had gotten people that was going to stay with them while I came here. But every plan I put into place, God closed the door. He did not allow me to come. And then I said, well, Lord, you got jokes. I mean, you really have jokes.
Mama
You know
know the
what I'm
new
saying?
lingo and everything.
You better ask about Gloria.
I retired. She called. She's talking about she has cancer. I retired, and then I had to get custody of my great-grands. And it was 3 of them. And she's going through this. And everything I put in place, like I said, the doors just wouldn't open. So I had to come to grips with myself. It's not for me at this time. It's not for me. I don't know why, Lord, but I'm going to accept you and do what you say and follow your way. So with that, all I could do was pray, talk to those around me at home, and they prayed. They cried with me. I had friends that I had walked through with them because they had gone through cancer. But my own daughter, from a distance, I was there for her.
Yeah.
But one-on-one on a facial, I wasn't, but he was. And that was my strength.
Wow.
Because
Mother.
I knew that he had you. The word that you all used several times today was encourage. I stayed encouraged because of him.
Yes.
And I knew what he could do.
Yeah.
And that was more than enough for me.
Oh,
And because of that, we're here today. Because of that. And all of you, because of him, we're here today.
Don't cry, Mama.
Oh, child, I'm losing it over here. Okay. Whew.
I thank God for hearing this. 'Cause
Yeah.
my mother died at 18, and so I saw her go through it, so I immediately became aggressive when cancer paid me a visit. Her only sister died, and my grandmother all died from the same disease. So we have a gene. So that's another thing that we need to talk about too, is that, that genetic testing that needs to be done.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
I'm just vicariously enjoying the moment right now. I just wish that I had that too. And thank you. Thank you for being there for your baby girl.
She would call and sing. My mother,
Oh, child, yes.
and that was
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It was everything. In spite of the way that God showed up through so many people.
And that's your husband?
That's my husband.
Husband, thank you. No.
That
Oh my
is-
God, I salute you. Because not every man has stood there.
Can make it through that, yeah.
Yes.
A defining moment for me would be after I had my lumpectomy. And my husband hadn't said much. now when we talk about it, he explained he didn't know what to say. But I never forget being still up under the medication, but driving into the garage after the lumpectomy. And he pulled into the garage and he put his hands on the steering wheel and he just burst into tears. And I said, "You've been holding that this whole time?" And he said, "Yes." And he just cried and cried. I was like, wow. I'm sorry, but it was, I'll never forget. Because you think, like, I didn't know what to think because we weren't really, talking. But he was, present and definitely giving me everything I want. So I definitely appreciate
I was
that.
talking to Miss Brown when she called me, and she was talking about this show. And I said, at some point in time, we got to talk about after that man leaves you in this predicament, what his trash was is my current man's treasure. Scars and all.
Come through.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
That's good.
I like that. We have a friend that the same thing happened to her during her bout with breast cancer. Her husband left. And she married today. Yes.
King over here. So.
She lived bi-coastal. Okay. For real, yeah.
Right,
and I
right.
love that because she didn't give up. She became that overcomer.
Yes.
And I am literally in awe of Nevada because, again, she just didn't stop. She did not stop. And now meeting you guys, I've known you through Patsy, but I know who you are. I think we've even been Facebook friends a while. But we never had a conversation. We are Browns, not by relation.
Yes.
Maybe, we don't know. But it's amazing how you are decorated. You're a decorated officer, and you have gone through this and gone through it publicly where we have, and I don't want to exclude any other race, don't get me wrong, but as an African American, a black woman, we need to see each other, and to see the overcomer. I have a sister who went through breast cancer. I didn't walk with her like this. I came to visit every now and again, and she was a little bit more, she was not like Nevada. Nevada's the first person I know. And then my cousin's wife, she went through, but as V was talking about, she didn't survive her bout. And just knowing that this is something that black women and all women are going through, and you don't have to walk the road alone. Now, I don't think that there's any shame in the game if a woman chooses to walk alone or not be as public, right? But I think from the outside looking in, it might be a little bit more help walking with someone.
Right. I do. I believe that when you allow for me, it was a matter of pride, having always done for other people, and now being in a position to having to allow people
That's
to
the
do for me.
hardest part for
It was very hard.
Yeah.
It was very hard. Like I said, Overseer Alexander would call. I wouldn't answer. Maybe she would call someone. I'm like, oh my goodness, let me answer this phone, because she wouldn't. But it was always to encourage, always to see what I needed. And then I learned in this process too a word called positive toxicity. Toxic positivity. And that's when you're saying, I'm okay, all the time. And God had to tell me, no, it's okay to not be okay. And stop telling people you're okay because you're really not. And I learned that word. Those are two words, toxic positivity, through this journey. And I also learned, too, that God is the God of my suffering. Because I would, declare and profess as a worship leader or just an exhorter, he's the God of my salvation, healing. He's my joy. He's my strength. And I learned during this time that even in my suffering, that same God, that's all those other things, when I'm on the mountain, was right there, even more so present when I was in the valley. And it's something that, that I think it's just powerful, because sometimes when we are suffering, it has a negative connotation. But if you would allow and seek and wait and listen and say, God, what is this? What is in it for me? He met me right there in such a powerful way.
Do you guys see that I don't know how you guys are now, but I am such an empath. Like, I'm feeling you right now, and I'm getting so emotional, you know what I mean? And that's how I am as a constable also out in the civilian sector. I get to a story, and my handlers are like, "You're a public, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Wait a second, you told me a story." And I'm up there crying with them and feeling them and identifying with their pain and stuff. And one thing I'm not going to do is, just because I have this mess on my collar doesn't mean that I can't be me.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
Yes.
I
And
love
so
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. 'Cause
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to mention, I hear you was talking about, you said you were married, going through it. Well, I was single.
Okay.
And after the cure actually was the hardest part for me because I had a mastectomy. And so I saw myself as damaged goods.
Yes.
My goodness.
My hair was gone. My breast is gone. No man, I would never be
do you do
married
that?
again. What man would want to be with me?
Right.
It took me first talking to God and finding that mental coach to tell you you're beautiful no matter what, and this to help build me back up physically. Because, like I said, afterwards was actually harder than it was going through the chemo, going through that. I was like, now what? Lord, look at me. I would never meet a man. I desire to be married again, but I got scars here. I got this going and that, and until I began to love myself again.
Powerful.
Because I was trying to find love, but from someone else. But I had to try to
That's
learn
serious.
this show all over
Preach,
again, no
girl.
matter what I looked like. I got in that mirror and said, V, you are beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes.
are gorgeous and you are a queen. Until I began to believe
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Then God said, okay, now you're ready. You're ready for a man to enter into your
That's
life.
called healthy dating.
Come on.
Love yourself.
Yes.
I love that.
Self-love. That's so right.
Yeah.
That's so right.
Good stuff.
Now I want to talk about nutrition.
Okay.
Okay, so you had talked to your. What is your job? You say you do nutrition?
Natural health
Natural
consultant.
health. So with any type of disease, right? In nutrition, it goes hand in hand, and we've heard it, we've learned about it. In our community, it is not prevalent, right? In our grocery stores, you know, we don't have fresh fruit and vegetables like we have fresh fruit and vegetables on the other side of town. I said it. So talk to me about, like, when we're going through any type of healing journey, what types of fruits and vegetables or foods or things that we should do to help ourselves?
You said it, the colorful fruits and vegetables, because I didn't share this part.
Go ahead.
Through the end of my journey, the chemotherapy was destroying my body so bad. I walked away from it and began to treat myself naturally. I met a natural health consultant. That's why I said I became a natural. I had the things that he was telling me to take naturally began to help my body. So that's why I went to school. I said, I need to find out why. It's because in Genesis, the first chapter, if I can.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
In the 29th verse, I never really recognized, it said, God said, I give you every tree on the face of this earth that bears seed, and every fruit with seeds in it, I give to you for food.
Seed bearing.
I said, what? And I looked at a different version. It said, I give to you for provisions. I give to you for meat. So what does that mean? That we come from the ground. So the things that will heal our bodies also come from the ground.
Oh my, that's
So
so
the
good.
fruits, when they used to say an apple a day would keep the doctor away. Well, guess what? There is so many vitamins and nutrients and antioxidants in an apple that it really, if you take one a day, it probably could keep the doctor away.
I love that.
You know, and things in our cabinet like cinnamon and all those things that our great grandmothers used to use
remedies.
because they didn't have mammograms, blood pressure machines, diabetes sticks. They didn't have those things, but they were so healthy. Why? Because they were out in that garden. Planting tomatoes, planting peas, planting peppers, and they was bringing in those fresh things. And somebody told me, well, my grandma, you talking about, because I'm a pescatarian, I don't eat a lot of other meat.
I was going to ask you.
And so it was like, well, my grandmother was strong, and she ate pork and chitlins and this and that. This is the difference. It wasn't processed.
Come through.
She knew what she fed Porky. She knew what she gave Molly the cow. She knew what was out there. So that's the a difference.
chicken.
That's
Right?
good.
Yes.
That's the
good.
difference.
Yes.
They didn't know about no hormones and
GMOs.
and all
None
of the
of that.
things that they
I
put
see
in our
it.
foods.
Yes.
You know, they had a chicken breast that looked like a chicken breast, not like a turkey breast. You know, and all those different things. So I know you didn't tell me to go way over there.
No, no.
That's good. That's
I didn't run out of time again, y'all. I
Good.
run out of time.
Oh my goodness.
No sugar for me real quick.
Real quick.
Yes.
Sugar is damaging.
Oh my gosh.
Look, I'm sorry.
Sugar, no. Go.
Yes. How sugar is damaging and
Is
how
a-
it causes cancer.
That white devil.
Yes.
That's
That's
what I
what
call
we-
it.
yeah,
That
she-
white
yes.
devil.
Yeah.
That sugar is not good.
Not at all.
It is. It's really like you said, and not just sugar, not in just the cane sugar, but especially the pink one and the blue one and the yellow
my
one.
gosh.
Those chemical ones, they do a lot of damage to our bodies.
All that
And
processed stuff.
right, and it's very, very necessary to wean away from those things. But I won't say it's easy,
No.
right?
It's
Right.
not.
But
Right.
but those things like the sugars and the processed foods, it's not just cancer. It's just so many other diseases that are coming in through that processed food and those
Yes.
sugars and stuff. And that's the child nutrition in me. I'm gonna leave with this. I made this painting, and I call this. It's just a work in progress. I always send it to her, and the different levels of it. I was just writing words, and I'm just this is not one of these. It's just like a scrap painting because I'm gonna make a bigger one. But this one says, can you see the little? It's a little caterpillar right here, and he says, "You've changed to the butterfly right here," and he says, "We're supposed to." You get we can't stay in this state our whole life. And if we don't move from here to here,
Yes.
we gonna die.
That's right. That's right.
So when Nevada was going through, I would always send these little text messages, and I call her my little pupa. Because your mama said, huh? That's the pupa is the word for the cocoon. And so from here, she was this little cocoon. And when she started cocooning, and she started battling, the story of the caterpillar, we could cut this part at any moment, right? But the story of the caterpillar going to the butterfly has to go through this cocoon process. And it was that time when nobody else can help you no more. This is you got to do it. Can't give up. Ooh, when you was going to give up on chemo, you can't do it.
I was there.
She was there. She was done. And the butterfly, in order to come out, he's got to fight his way out of the cocoon.
Yes.
And if anybody comes in at this point, those negative people, and try to help and touch, you could destroy what's going to happen. So that process, and then when she came out in full bloom, honey, this girl ain't stopped flying yet. Okay? And I'm so very proud of her. And just getting to know you guys, I'm very proud of you as well to go through your journey. And I'm thankful for all the people that walk with you. And Mama Gloria, I remember our days on FaceTime and all of that. So thank you for being here today. I'm so glad you came into town just for this show.
Wow.
That's what I believe.
That's a mama right there. Wow.
That's what I believe. Well, thank you all.
Thank y'all.
Thank
Yes.
y'all. Thank you for joining us on After the Show at the Forward Progress Show. Check us out on YouTube at FWD Progress. I'm your host, Deanna Brown, with our favorite mental health coach, Nevada K. King. And I want to thank my guests, Gloria Bryant, V. Cheryl Adams, and Constable Kat Brown. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Remember to be encouraged and keep God first in your life.
See you next time.
Next time. Run off.
Okay.